Hello, and welcome to another episode of Shampoo and Booze. This is episode number 16 at shampooandbooze.com.
Hey Ryan, how are you?
I'm good.
Great. So welcome to everybody to our little show. So this is about us. We have a vacation rental that is listed on Airbnb. We are renovating a second rental right now, a place that will become a rental. And we bought both of these using profits from selling stuff on eBay. Isn't that crazy?
Make sense of all that.
So each week we try and describe kind of the trials and tribulations of our process. We do this full time. We do not have jobs. That is why we can even do a podcast, because we don't have to actually work at other places.
Yes.
So this is kind of our way of kind of working through how we're doing this. You know, we're kind of making this up as we go along and hoping to reach out to other people.
We like to pretend we know what we're doing.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you know, we make plenty of mistakes, but we acknowledge when mistakes happen so they don't become, you know, consistent problems. And, you know, we hope, again, we can meet other people who are renting property so we can learn from them.
Yes, that is the goal.
Yep. So, how was our week?
It was good. The most recent thing that we did was... we kind of talked about it before. You drove round trip in one day last Sunday to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay, so New Jersey is like 5.5 hours, you know, depending on what part of New Jersey. It was
We're
like
in
Newark.
Virginia, yeah.
We're in
like
Virginia.
DC, yeah.
You drove to Newark area, which is about 5.5 hours one way. And we bought a refrigerator for the newest house because I had a very specific refrigerator that I wanted. It is a 10 cubic foot, basically apartment size fridge with a bottom freezer by LG. Someone posted it in New Jersey and it was $200. Well, it was $250. I talked them down to $200. And you were willing to go get it.
And it would be about $900 new.
If you look them up, 10 cubic foot LG bottom freezer, it's about $900.
And these are, and this is really all a you, but I think it's a good idea. It's like one of those kind of specialty fridge.
Yeah.
Like it's not so common. You can't just go into a Lowe's
like you
and buy
can't
it.
find them at Lowe's.
Right.
I went to Lowe's and I was like, 10 cubic foot refrigerator with bottom freezer? And they're like, what do you know?
Right.
You have to order those online special.
Yeah. It's very sleek, and so
Yeah.
I was just the guy that went and got it. But you know, so this actually feeds into our like scavenger lifestyle where we don't like to buy anything, pay a retail for anything. So you know, we're balancing. So we saved $700. It was an all day, you know, back and forth. Probably spent, you know, $75 in gas and food.
Yeah. You didn't stay overnight. So
Right.
the thing about us scavenging, if we can avoid staying overnight somewhere, it's good because there's less money.
And so, you know, and I went on a Sunday, so it was really easy to drive.
It was Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, it was. So, but the thing is, it's a used fridge, and the guy didn't really describe it perfectly. So
the thing was, I knew it was used, so I knew it would need a cleaning, and there might be some scuffs and stuff. But it was like, and he told me there were scratches. He wrote to me and said, look, there are a couple of scratches on the front. You know, it's not horrible. And then when I got it, I was kind of upset because I was like, oh, this is worse than he said. Like, the glass shelves have a lot of scratches. But once I looked at it more and more, you know, we looked at it a couple times because it's in our storage unit. I thought, you know what, this is okay. And I think that I can fix some of the issues, like some of the scuffs on the front. I think I can fix them. I can talk about that later. But
yeah.
I feel better about it now than I did at first.
Bottom line, it's for us. So as we're trying to get this a rental that we bought fixed up, we're also now starting to buy the things that's going to go inside of it.
Right.
And, you know, we could just wait till the very last moment and just go to the store and just buy everything new. You know, go to IKEA or Lowe's or whatever, Home Depot, buy everything new, and then just put it in there.
Right.
Slap down a credit card. But the way we do it is since we have a lead time, it's going to take us at least 6 months here to get the place fixed up. So we have 6 months to like think about all the things we want in there, and then to look on Craigslist and eBay and other places and find the cool stuff we want at much lower prices.
I mean, if you have the time to find things, you'll find things so cheap. I mean,
better quality too.
Better quality. Like, I could just go to Lowe's and buy a small fridge for like, or Craigslist for like whatever, $100 or something, you know. But I really was like, I want this to be basically like a kitchen in a European apartment. That's what I want it to feel like.
Right. I mean, we could go to Home Depot or a Lowe's, but it would be a cheap fridge. It would be like a kind of a low quality.
For $200, it would be like one of the generic like little fridges, you know. So
we already have a storage building, you know, thing.
It's a storage facility that we rent.
A unit. And so we already have a couple of really nice wool rugs that we bought at an auction.
Yes.
We have some nice comfort chairs, like swivel chairs.
Yeah, so we've been gathering things. We have an oven that we bought on Craigslist like last year, way before we even bought a house. I just bought this oven. Yeah. But it was, you know,
so anyway, yeah, I mean, we love to do this. We love to find these things, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like I'm finding stuff before we even own a house. I mean, the thing was I thought, okay, this oven, if we don't end up buying a house in the next year, I'm just gonna sell it on Craigslist. It's like a $2,000 oven. It's a Genair oven. If I don't use it, I'll just sell it. That's the beauty of being sellers. You can take a risk and get something. Even this refrigerator, I thought, if I really am unhappy with the scuffs and the whatever, I'll just sell it for, you know, more for our total cost of it to someone locally who has an apartment, and we're good, and I'll find the one that I want, you know, later. So that's what's interesting about having time and not doing like a quick redo.
I mean, that's what we did for the first rental that we had. I mean, there we had 3 years of a renovation. Hopefully it's not going to be that long, but we had a long time to find stuff, and we found amazing things.
We found so much stuff.
Artwork and just
housewares,
wood,
furniture.
And, sinks.
I mean, and the good thing was we used a majority of it. By the end, when we had this little, like, it's the writer's cabin that's on the property. We were just filling that with stuff. And we used most of it. I mean, some of it we were like, oh, we didn't end up needing this. Just sell it on eBay.
I totally remember that day too, when finally the house was totally done.
I know.
And it was ready for us to put stuff in there. And we went into this little small cabin we had full of stuff. And it was like Christmas time.
Yeah.
We're like, oh yeah,
I forgot about all this stuff.
Kitchen stuff, you know, utensils and...
Yeah, and for, I mean, a lot of it was all of it was from thrift stores and yard sales. So you just look for the nice stuff. Oh, look, there's like a huge set of IKEA drinking glasses that this person's giving away for like $2. Grab it, you know, put it in a box, you know, till you're ready.
And, you know, again, we're a little bit picky. You know, we've stayed in Airbnbs where it looks exactly like someone went to IKEA.
And just bought everything.
And just bought a carload of stuff. And stuck it in there.
Right. It just feels cold.
Right.
You know? It feels like you're at the IKEA showroom.
But I think if you take a little bit of time and find more unique items or a mix of items, it starts feeling like it's like you're staying in a home, you know, that's been well thought out. You know?
I hate this, sounds so snobby, but it's curated. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you've curated the space.
Right.
You haven't just like... You're not flipping the house, you know. You're curating every detail that's in the house. So,
like I think of that place you stayed at in Amsterdam, which was a great deal.
It was an amazing
right in the middle of town. So we were happy no matter what. But it was like a younger guy in his 20s that had this extra like apartment, that his dad owned, and
lucky him.
He obviously went to IKEA, and then there were just like a little signs on the wall like live, laugh, love, and like little things, and
everything was from IKEA, which whatever, we were like good for him, but it didn't feel, you know, that interesting. It just felt like the IKEA showroom, you know.
Right.
So in conclusion, even though Jay spent a long day driving that kind of stuff is fun for us because we save money. And the great thing was that was the exact fridge I wanted. I put a search out. It was the exact one. It was the right price. I was like, great.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I think the guy selling it did not understand that you had like driven from Virginia. I kept telling him.
He knew.
No, but in the beginning he was like, right. Okay, well, if you're in the area, you can stop by. I'm like, I'm not in the area. I'm coming to the area.
We're very serious people.
Yeah, like it's very.
Yeah, so people listening right now are either like, this is a little too hardcore, or they're like, I get it, you know? Like, we're scavengers too. Okay, so we have a roofer who is working on our second rental right now. And
he finally got his check because I wrote him a check.
And he's, and again, we've talked about we're working as our own contractors, so we hire all the subcontractors. So we're the one hiring all the guys to do the different parts. So right now we're working on the roof. It's very cold here.
It's freezing.
So it's taking him. It's slow, but that's fine.
He's cool with it.
Yeah, anything we can get done in the winter time, we're happy.
It's a bonus.
But he showed us where it's an A-frame house with like these little wings. And he showed us as he was pulling apart its roof that they actually added some parts to the roof to give it more of a slope because it was like it's a roof on the little wings.
Yeah, so what was interesting, is that he was, he pulled the old roof off, the asphalt shingles, and then underneath that is plywood. So he had ripped up some of the plywood, and when we went over there to give him his check, he's like, look down in here. That's the roof underneath. Like, it was like 3 feet of space between it because the original roof was basically a flat roof. And I'm sure that, right after they built that, they were like, this is not going to work because no water is like... Well, what's the name of the roof where it's like got pebbles all over it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I forget what it's called, but... It's
like, it's like an asphalt it's with pebbles on it.
Yeah, it's just like the weirdest thing.
But it's good though. I mean, we trust him. He knows what he's doing, and he's taking a roof that hasn't been touched in 20 years, and he's like, it's replacing just things that it's just age.
Yeah,
little parts of it that either got some water damage or are not doing well. So he's just going to get it all. He's going to wrap it in a metal. It's going to be a metal roof. It'll be great.
So the thing about this roofer too is, we got a quote from another roofing company because this roofer, the quote he gave us is essentially $12,000 plus any extra wood he has to get to replace weird rotted parts, right?
I bet it's going to be like $15,000 after all said and done.
Right, so all said and done, you're like, okay, this is a crazy expense.
And it seemed like a lot of money.
Right, so we're looking at that number, and I'm like, this is a crazy number, I'm like, am I crazy not to get another quote? So I called another place, like a place that's got this guy that we're using doesn't have a website. He barely could answer his cell phone. I mean,
he's like a craftsman.
Yes.
And then his son, it works with him. So, I mean, he says he's a second generation, his son's third generation.
They're all
This is what they do. He just does word of mouth and he goes from job to job. Yeah. And it's just to feed him and his family. Right. But we called a company.
A company, yeah.
That is that does multiple jobs and they hire employees.
Yeah.
And so we had a guy come out who's more like the manager.
Yeah.
And he looks at it and gives us a quote, and then he'll just tell his guys that will pull up
and do it in 2 days.
Right.
So, and we had asked him, hey, if you find a rotten board here, will you replace it? The answer was no. Right. He's like, we don't do any extra carpentry. We just put the roof on. We don't care, basically. So his quote was about $11,000. And which was great to hear because we were like, oh, yes, that's why we hired the other guy, because he's a craftsman and he is taking notice of every detail. And I think guys like the other guy with the company, they're okay for new construction. If you have a brand new roof that you're putting on, there's nothing wrong with your structure. So there's they punch it out in a day. They're like, yep, it's done, it's good, maintain it and you're good. But this house is 40 years old plus a 25-year-old roof. So we need someone who's paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, old houses just need love and attention.
Yeah.
It's not new construction.
Right.
So, we need the guy who's like the craftsman who is going to take his time and is thinking of the whole as a roof
Right.
as a whole. Like, he's not just thinking about his part. He's thinking about how it's all going to work together. How it goes into the gutters and the ice flow and all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So if there's extra money being paid, that is why.
Right.
Like, we walked away from that guy giving us the quote, the business guy, and we were like, oh yeah, it's really good we got that quote, because we feel much better hiring the craftsman guy.
And so that's good for us being our own contractors, so we can make that choice.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to spend more, but we're going to feel good about it.
Exactly. So for our farmhouse, that's the rental that is in business right now. It seems like February is like the month of, friends and family visiting, like filling in like the winter days.
And it's kind of perfect because it's a little bit slow for us. So it's great because we can extend a nice place for people to stay, and they aren't taking up valuable rental time.
Like spring, summer, and fall. Like, my mom, she's so funny. She was texting me like, yeah, I'm gonna. My mom lives in Massachusetts, so when she drives to Florida, Virginia is like the halfway point. So she's like, yeah, I'm gonna come down. I don't know my dates yet. It might be sometime in March. And I'm just like, I had to text her like, Mom, you have to give me dates, because March and April, like, that stuff's gonna be booked. Like, I can't even, like, you're gonna have to sleep on my floor at my house. So she finally gave me dates for the end of February. So that's cool that I'm like, you get a whole fancy fun house to stay in. I might actually stay overnight when she's there. I thought, oh, good, that might be a fun thing if I just like stayed overnight.
And plus, we talked about when she's here for the week, we could actually do some projects over there.
Yes.
Since
I'm going to put my mom to work. Mom, here's a sander. Sand that coffee table.
So we always have a list of things we want to update, and it's hard to, we never like to take it off the market.
No,
so
like,
be perfect.
There is, if you don't have to take the house off the market to do, touch up stuff, that's the best. Like, I have to sand a coffee table because there's like a bunch of scratches on it and stuff. There's like touch up paint, like on, like on the stairway going downstairs. That's like the most used wall, like kids running up and down, people bumping their luggage against it. So I want to do that, stuff like that. And so I think it's really important to, when you have an off day, to schedule doing things like that, or else stuff just starts to look really like worn out.
And plus it starts building up.
Building up, yeah.
So this week we had a good week in our rental. We had a couple stay. It's Monday to Friday.
Yes.
And that was great,
Yeah,
So
a weekday stay is the best.
Anytime we can find people who are willing to stay a whole week is great.
It's incredible, yeah.
And then right now we have a family that are staying from Friday and Saturday. So basically 6 nights of the week is booked, which is like in February.
And it's freezing out. It's like, great. That's always the best.
And February is actually turning out to be a great month for us.
Right.
I mean, we're going to make about $2,500 this month.
Very unexpected.
Which a lot of people around here who have cabins don't. They might book a weekend. We have a weekend booked, and then two
like
whole
week sections.
Weeks.
Yeah.
So it's great. So the family who's staying in the cabin right now, they're coming from. It's DC. It's Valentine's Day. It's President's Day.
Yeah, it's a nice weekend.
We knew we could book it, so we put $50 a night on it, like
for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because it's a long weekend.
Right, and so this woman wanted to book it for her family, but she was like, "I can book other places cheaper. Can you do a cheaper price? Like, if you do $199 a night?" And I basically told her, no. I was like, we're going to book this.
No matter what.
And if you compare our place to other people, I think I've talked to people about this. I mean, that's our line now. Like, instead of it's crumbling and giving people really good deals, we feel good about our quality.
Yeah.
And she's like, let me think about it. And she booked the very next day and said, you guys do have the best quality compared to other sites.
Right.
I mean, hopefully after staying there, she'll
She'll think so.
But,
Well, what's interesting, though, is when we checked them in yesterday, they had a dog. They had a big dog, actually.
Yeah.
One of the biggest dogs I've seen stay in our house.
it was a beautiful dog.
Oh, it was a gorgeous, gorgeous dog, like a husky dog. White, pure white, looked like a polar bear. And so what she mentioned was, your place was one of the only places that allowed dogs. So I think that that's a really good point to bring up, too, when people ask for discounts. We can just be like, your dogs can come. You
True.
know, it's a lot of places don't allow dogs. We're totally pet friendly.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. I think it's really hard to stay firm on the price when you really want a booking, you know?
Yeah. Well, we're definitely learning about balancing and making sure places are booked versus being firm and just taking that risk. I mean, when we first started to rent, I can remember in the first month we had a couple email and wanted to stay a week, and they only wanted to pay $100
a night,
but they were going to book 7 nights, and we were like, okay, let's
it was
just do
9 nights.
Whatever, 9 nights.
They said we want to pay $1,000 for 9 nights. And we were like, first of all, it's awesome to have someone there that long because you don't have to touch the house. Right. You're like, just call us if you need anything. It's all good.
I mean, basically, we crumbled because we wanted the booking because we were new.
It was one of our first bookings.
We're like, go for it. But now, now we kind of get a better sense of the popularity and the timing, and so I don't know.
We're learning.
We're gonna try. It's like in March, like it's this month. It's great, it's people seem to slowly are starting to think about the spring and summertime. We're slowly starting getting people booking for the future. So we had like a guy book for a weekend in March. He's paying $250 a night. That's our new weekend price.
Yeah.
He did it on Instabook, which we really love on Airbnb.
Right.
I know some people maybe not like that because they don't get to like kind of think about
screen people.
But it's fine for us.
It works for us, and if there's an issue, you can cancel it without getting a penalty.
And it's funny if I look on Airbnb when they like say these are the prices we think that you should charge, and they have the dynamic pricing. Like on that a weekend, they said we should charge $190
a night.
So. Again, we've talked about that algorithm that Airbnb has. It's not it doesn't take into account all the amenities and the quality. It's just probably looking at just like this flat base. So of course, if we want to just rent it for cheap, of course it'll probably always get rented, I
mean, the other thing, too, with their algorithm and their suggested prices, I feel like it makes more sense for people in more dense areas. Like, for us, there's competition, but not like if we were in New York City and they're like, you want to book this weekend? It's got to be this price compared to people in your neighborhood, Right. I just feel like it's a different way of doing things.
Right. So we're gonna see. My gut is we're still gonna book every weekend, even at the higher price.
Absolutely.
So
the weekend.
We'll see.
I mean, we found over last summer, like, you do not have a problem booking weekends. You will never have a problem booking weekends for us in our area. But weekdays, you might have to fudge the numbers a little bit. That's why we're like, it's $250 night, Friday and Saturday.
Right.
Those are our most popular nights all year.
Right. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping, and I would love to hear if any other hosts, if you lower your prices as time gets closer, and when do you start? Is it like a month is before, a week before?
Right.
Like when do you start getting nervous
and changing prices, or do you just stay firm and say that's my price and that's that?
So this coming week really it's cold here. I mean, we're in the depths of the winter time where we live. So we're just kind of waiting on its roofer to complete his job. But in the meantime, we're basically saving money for when the spring comes and we can bring all of our contractors so we can hopefully get as much work done in as short of a time as we can.
Yeah, that's the goal.
It's all about
Save
money.
It's all about money.
Right.
Because work gets done when you have the money to do it.
Right.
Whether dudes are slow or not, you find somebody else, you know.
Right,
like-
because we aren't, borrowing from the bank to redo this place. We're just going to do it all out of pocket. So, and actually, we're going to use the profits from our other rental to help pay for this
rental.
So
until it's done.
So that's going to be our experiment to see if we can make that happen.
So we do not have any voicemail calls today, but I did want to mention our voicemail phone number. And the phone number is 540-407-8486. We would love to hear from other people doing rentals. We would love to hear from people who are renting on Airbnb for travel. We just love to hear from you, so you can give us a call and leave a message.
And I think we're going to do an interview with another Airbnb host next weekend.
Yes.
And we'll get it up soon after that. But she seems interesting because she has both a long-term rental and she does the short-term on Airbnb. So it'd be interesting to kind of hear the difference between those two different kinds of rentals.
Right. Yeah, and we talk about that all the time as people who like to buy real estate. Why don't we just buy a house and rent it for a year, 2 years, 5 years, and not think about it?
It's more passive income.
It's more passive.
And you can even have like a management company handle all the rental and maintenance, and you really don't have to do anything, supposedly.
And so the great thing about that compared to short term is you don't have to clean the house every 2 days, or however long. You just do a lease and that's it. But you make so much less money.
Yeah.
In our area.
Depending on where you are.
So that's something we talk about constantly.
So check out our blog at shampooandbooze.com for links we talk about, or you can join the conversation over there as well. We post this episode every Sunday night and Monday morning. You can subscribe to us through iTunes or through YouTube, so you always get the latest. And you can listen to our other podcasts if you're interested in how we funded these as rentals, and that's where we talk about how we sell things on eBay.
And that is scavengerlife.com.
And if you want to rent our vacation farmhouse, or if you're just interested in checking out what we're talking about, that link will also be on the blog at shampooandbooze.com, and we're in the beautiful Shenandoah Valley.
That's right. It's up top. When you go on our blog, up top in the navigation bar, it says our rental.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Check it out. All right.
Okay, bye.